Here with Coach Megan Gebbia, Kaitlyn Lewis, and Maria Liddane after a fighting win over Youngstown State at home. Coach, we'll start with you with just some general thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I think it was quite a first half. We got ourselves in foul trouble, especially at the post position, and we had to go with lineups that we haven't used all year. But they came in and they were at least able to score for us, which I thought was big. It's nice to see your bench come in and make threes and do some things. And I think it put us kind of on our heels a little bit early. And we didn't get as many rebounds, and we allowed them to have quite a few rebounds offensive rebounds in the first half. But we were still able to maintain the lead going into the half. And in the second half, I thought, with Mike and Sess back in there, our offense started to roll a little bit, and we got ourselves a lead. And then they made a push in the fourth quarter, and luckily we were able to pull it out in overtime.
And now we'll open up the floor for questions for the student athletes first.
Hi. Both of you guys being returning athletes, is there anything that you guys have done differently, whether it be training or diet or something that you think contributes to your success this year?
You can go ahead. I don't know if it's anything different. I think most of the times we keep a lot of our training the same. We lift a lot of weights during the season and off season, which really contributes to being stronger, faster. And we also did have a diet speech this year, so we did have some education on that, which I think has played a role for sure.
Maria, 3 players in double digits for scoring, 2 players at 9. You picked up 6 assists. What were you seeing as the point guard really in the motion offense spreading the love?
I think that today we really realized they have pretty good help side. So, picking up your dribble, seeing the floor, seeing what's available. They collapsed a lot, so we had some shooters open on the perimeter. Just, having your head up and seeing when people are open.
For both Kaitlyn and Maria, you just finished up a long, extended road trip. How do you think that benefited both of you, bonding as a team off the court, but also on the court? Coach likes to schedule these extended early season road trips. What do you think that brings to the team, and how do you think it's going to help you going forward?
I think it really helps, getting to know the newcomers and just getting to know each other really well, because then you know what everybody likes on and off the court. And it shows. We're playing a lot better this year than we were last year and the year before. And I think it's because the upperclassmen are trying to get to know the younger people a lot more and trying to bond outside of basketball.
Kaitlyn, Coach Gebbia talked about different lineups, things that you're not used to seeing out there. What was it like to be playing out there with players that you're not necessarily as used to playing with as others on the floor at the same time?
I mean, it was fun. India and Kate came in and gave great minutes. India's always fun to play with. She just does her thing. She doesn't think too much. She just goes in and plays. And, I play with India and Kate a lot in practice when we split up into 2 teams. So, I mean, I'm kind of used to it, and they work their butts off. So it was just fun to actually be out there in a real game and see their hard work pay off.
Anything else for the athletes? Okay, you guys can head out, and then we'll ask Coach some questions.
With the razor-thin margin of the game, do you think that there was really a game-changing moment?
That's a good question. In overtime, I thought if I had to pick a moment, it was Alina crashing the offensive boards, and they fouled her. And I think that extended our lead from 3 to 4, if I'm correct. I have a hard time remembering, how everything happens. But that stood out to me because we've been trying to crash the boards. I thought Youngstown did a great job of boxing us out and keeping us off the offensive glass. But she kept fighting, and finally it paid off for her, and we got a foul called. So that was a good moment for us.
Your bench having a great afternoon, 31 overall points with 16 of them being Kaitlyn's. Talk a little bit about the depth that you have this year in comparison to other years.
Yeah, it's so different. I told them in the locker room, this year our bench can score. And if our starters are struggling, I'm not going to be afraid to put our bench in and see what they can provide. And it's been that way for the last couple games that they're able to kind of help us out. I know in Villanova, we were down a lot in the first half, and I went to the bench early, and they came in firing and started to make shots. And I think that gives them confidence. And, anytime you have a deep bench like that that can score, you're dangerous. We just have to make sure that we're playing both ends of the floor, and our bench is learning and getting better at playing both ends.
And you were telling me yesterday how Youngstown is really good with those three-point shots. So did you do any different drills this week before the game to prep for that and maybe combat those?
Not necessarily drills, but what we did do was we talked about if you're late to close out for the shot, and just even if you have to run by, you run by, but you expect the three-point shot, have them make twos is what I was telling them. And I don't think we did a particularly good job on number 4. We were close, but we weren't close enough, and I wanted her to be dribbling, and so she went off on us from 3. It's not how we practiced it, but we wanted to limit their three-point attempts, and as I look at the stat sheet, I mean, we really didn't limit their three-point attempts, but we did force them to make to miss some shots, which was nice.
You talked a little bit about Urbanus, but 2 years in a row, you've really taken Allison Smolinski out of the game. What are your thoughts on the team's ability to take key players from other teams out of games?
That's really important. We've talked about doing that. We haven't done that the last 2 years. I wish we could have done a better job on the Cash kid because she's an outstanding post player. But she's so hard to guard, and because there's three-point shooters around her, you can only help for so long, and if she sees you coming, and then 3 is going to go up. So it's like you have to pick your poison, and I was trying to pick 2s versus 3s today.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks.